It's almost a month into 2025. And this video is for you if the following scenario seems relatable. You set a goal for yourself at the start of the year. You started out strong. You did well for a couple of weeks. But then something happened that caused you to go off track. And ever since then, you found it really hard to get back on track. Your consistency was broken, and now you find it really hard to get it back. In most cases, you will end up blaming your willpower. You'll tell yourself that you're not disciplined enough or that you need to try harder. But here's the thing. Relying on willpower alone is exactly where the problem lies. The truth is, in most cases, when you set a goal for yourself, fitness goal, career goal, education goal, or even a personal goal, but you fail to chase it, it's not a willpower problem. More often than not, it's a framework problem. If you want to become more efficient at achieving your goals or you want to increase your odds of success, you have to break your goals down into skill issues or environment issues. Let me break this down for you. When you're struggling with your consistency, the problem is usually a skill issue or an environment issue. A skill issue is simple. You just don't know how to do what you're trying to do. A simple example of this is working out. You can get a gym membership, but if you don't know what to do in the gym, you're not going to make progress. An environment issue, on the other hand, is when your surroundings make it far harder for you to succeed. An example of this would be not having an accessible gym or having a membership to a gym that's very far away from your place. And in a lot of cases, you have both a skill issue and an environment issue. But once you identify them, a lot of them you'll realize are fixable. Let's start with skill issues. A skill issue is very simple. You're struggling because you don't have the knowledge to succeed or you don't have the tools to succeed. And that's perfectly fine because nobody is born knowing everything. But here's what you can't do. You can't just wing it and hope for the best, because that is just a recipe for frustration. Let's take the gym example again. If you're new to working out, hire a coach, watch videos online, or follow a very simple program instead of overcomplicating things. And definitely don't be the kind of person who walks up to the gym and just does anything. Although compared to not working out at all, that's probably better. But the point is that if you're trying to chase a goal, then investing some time into knowing what you're doing is probably a far safer bet. And you'll be surprised to know that you can identify a skill issue in almost any goal that you set for yourself or any habit that you want to inculcate. You're trying to get better with your finances, learning personal finance is a skill issue. You're trying to get better at your career, upskilling in whatever's relevant to you could be the skill issue. Even if you're struggling with food, then learning how to delay gratification and having some amount of self-restraint is the skill issue that needs to be fixed. And do your level best to fix it. The fix for any sort of a skill issue is simply education and practice, because even if you know something, you have to do it enough number of times to achieve some sort of mastery over it. And with the existence of the internet, as long as you're a mindful consumer, there's literally nothing you can't learn. That is only as long as you're choosing what you're consuming and you're not consuming whatever the algorithm is shoving down your throat. But this is also where you need to be brutally honest with yourself, because most people don't fix the issue that needs fixing. They focus on what's comfortable and not on what's necessary. Let's say you're an online fitness and nutrition coach like myself. You know the science of nutrition and training, you know how to coach people, but you don't have a distribution channel. And if you choose to go down the route of social media content creation, then learning how to create content and learning how to talk on camera is a skill that you might need to learn. So content creation and whatever comes with it is the skill issue that needs fixing. But a lot of times people don't acknowledge the actual problem and they'll focus on everything else around it. Because acknowledging your weaknesses is a very challenging thing to do. So instead of working on, let's say, content creation, you might end up doing another nutrition course. So you might end up doing another course in training, or you might end up getting another certification. But you still haven't fixed the problem that was holding you back. That way you end up giving yourself the illusion of actual work, when in reality you're just finding a busy way to procrastinate. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself if there's anything that you're avoiding in the process, and in most cases that might be the thing that you need to work on the most. And yeah, it might suck horribly at first, but that's exactly where growth happens. Don't confuse being active with being effective. Fix the real issues, which most likely are going to be the most uncomfortable ones to face, and see how far that's going to take you. Now let's talk about environmental issues, because in most cases this is where people mess up a lot. Your environment is everything around you. Your friends, your colleagues, your physical environment, and even your schedule. If any part of your environment is working against you, then consistency becomes an uphill battle. Let's stick with the gym example for this one. If your gym is very crowded, or if your gym is located very far away, the chances that you're going to be consistent in going to the gym, especially if you have a busy schedule, is going to be close to zero. Similarly, if you're trying to eat clean, but your kitchen is full of junk food all the time, you're going to find it very hard to eat clean. Because on a day where you're super motivated, you're very driven, you woke up on the right side of the bed, you're probably going to get it done. But on a bad day, you will fall to your cravings because willpower is an exhaustible resource. So fixing an environment issue is essentially about making it easier for you to be consistent as opposed to not. Find a gym that's closer to home, clear your pantry of things that you shouldn't be eating, stop chilling with the friends that drink every other day, and you're going to find it incredibly easier to stay consistent. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have to put in work and things are going to be effortless. You still require effort, and on some days that's going to be harder than other days. But it's a heck of a lot easier if your environment is a little more conducive. Because by doing this, you're relying less on your willpower than you were before, thus very simply improving your chances of success. But see, let's be real. It's not always very easy to change your environment. Sometimes you're just stuck with what you have. And in those situations, I want you to acknowledge that your circumstances are not fixed. There's a really good chance that if you do what you can with what you have, eventually you're going to build a life for yourself where you can tweak your environment to be more conducive. So it won't be an uphill battle forever. Take this whole studio setup, for example. My script is over there. I have two cameras pointing at me. There's a light there, there's a light there, and this whole room is soundproofed. But it wasn't always like that. Like when I started creating content, I started from a small table in a corner of my room and I was recording myself with an iPhone XR. No mic, no clean backgrounds, horrible lighting, whatnot. We did the best with what we had, and a couple of years later, we were able to upgrade to whatever we have now. That's sort of the mental framework that I want you to function from, especially if your environment is not conducive and there's not much you can do about it. Start where you are, do your best with what you have, and eventually you'll find an opportunity to improve your surroundings, which will make it easier for you to achieve your goals. So, in some sense, you'll get incremental returns for the efforts that you're putting in because eventually your environment will support you instead of working against you. Because, truth be told, you'll never get the perfect circumstance. And if you keep waiting for the perfect circumstance, you will probably never move forward, which is infinitely worse. Now, here's a catch. Most people don't have a skill issue or an environment issue. They have a mix of both. Let's go back to the gymming example since I'm a fitness and nutrition coach. You need to go to the gym to work out so that you can achieve your fitness goals. But it's not enough to just show up at the gym, or it's not enough to just know how working out works. You need to know how to work out, you need to have a program to follow, you shouldn't feel lost when you enter a gym. But at the same time, all of that knowledge is useless if you don't show up. And showing up can be an environment issue if your gym is located very far away or if your schedule is too packed. And that's exactly why this framework is so powerful, because it helps you identify exactly what's going to be an obstacle in your chase to achieve your goals or New Year resolutions or habits that you're trying to inculcate, whatever the case may be. Because once you know where the obstacle lies, you stand a chance at fixing it. That's all I have for this video, and if this video helped you even a little bit, I would really appreciate if you consider sharing this with a friend. Because while we do have quite the community on Instagram, it's word of mouth that will help this channel grow. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next.